first speaker for this session, Shri Rupesh Kohli, Executive Director, Testing RDSO. Shri Rupesh leads testing for all rolling stock in India, overseeing assessment for Vande Bharat, metro coaches and freight innovations. He is also driving the shift to EN 14363 standards and establishing a dedicated test track. Over the past year, the team has successfully completed assessment of Vande Bharat, Amrit Bharat train sets, Vande Metro and Vande sleeper tracks, triple stack container operations, roll-on, roll-off freight cars, new-gen automobile carrier, WAP-7 Locus at 180 km per hour, metro coaches of Navi Mumbai, Kanpur, Bengaluru, Pune, Kolkata, to name a few. Please put your hands together and welcome on the dais Shri Rupesh Kohli. And we just had tea. I think we can do a little better. A little better, ladies and gentlemen. Let's give him a more energetic round of applause.
Thank you to Tanveer and Goel Saab for this opportunity. Great to be amongst this audience. Hope to share a couple of perspectives of mine, and I'll request if everyone could settle down and we could go through these 10-15 minutes. So what I'm trying to present is about the rolling stock, and it's particularly because it's a metro technology conclave, so I've tried to focus on the metro technology per se. And what I'm trying to present is an opportunity in the rolling stock industry as we see it, and the efforts that are being put in terms of trials and testing of metro technology and rolling stock technology in general. So before I go ahead, as a perspective building, I'll take the example of Delhi Metro. It's our biggest metro, as you all know, and it's the 7th biggest in the world as well. So anyone from Delhi Metro, please? So Delhi Metro seems to have given us a miss, but my only request was if I was off by something, then they would have corrected me. So as I said, it's the 7th largest in the world, and in terms of ridership, is the 4th busiest this thing. As you can see on this slide, we have almost 350 plus kilometer of network already operational, another 100 on its way, so we'll have 400 plus of kilometerage soon. It is divided into 10 different lines. And the purpose for me putting it is to ask a guess on this. How many different types of rolling stock can you guess does the Delhi Metro already use? So any guesses, please? 5, 4. So as you're aware, December of 2002, it came into existence. It's been there for around 20 odd years. And these are the types of rolling stocks already in. And I've not counted NCR CTC and other suburbans which are coming up. So this is just on the Delhi Metro network. And they cover across the entire spectra of rolling stock manufacturers. What about metro systems in India as well? So like you can see, most major metro systems use different types of rolling stock across different manufacturers, different types, different technologies. Aluminum, stainless steel, whatever you may think of, all currently operational and running. The metro rail has grown phenomenally, as all of us know, from just 2 dots on the map on the left to 18 already operational, 10 on their way. We will soon have, we will surpass and move on to the 3rd or the 4th place in terms of the number of metros which are operational and in terms of kilometerage as well. And it's only getting better. So we're going to cross, we are at 700 odd kilometers presently, and we will probably be maybe almost a little more than 2.5 times in just 4-5 years to come. And this is from the Ministry of Housing and Urban Affairs. So it's already in the pipeline, it's already in the works. So what does it mean? So what does it mean for us, and what is the reason for this perspective? And more than that, so apart from what we have, what we are using in India, what we are utilizing in India, what we are building in India, we are also building for the world already. So you would have come across these few snippets that I just culled from the net, where rolling stock manufactured in India is now operationally working in different metro systems across the world. So having said that perspective, this is a broad coverage. I'll try and sort of give you a perspective of the metro rolling stock opportunity that we have in our country. Then there is something called the dedicated test track, which the Indian Railways is building up. So what's that, and how does that come in, and how does that merge into this? We have proposed to the industry something called the standard gauge dedicated test track, and we've been the Ministry of Urban Affairs, Indian Railways have actually been pursuing actively different components of the industry to please build stakeholders into this project. The Indian Railways is willing to put the capital, but we want stakeholders' presence in it so that we are able to take them off. The concept of an integrated test center and what lies at the core. So the rolling stock opportunity. So this is a brief on a single slide, the number of trials that every rolling stock needs to go through before it is passenger ready. And it is just a brief summary from maybe tens of reports that are required before the rolling stock gets a validation from the Commissioner for Metro Rail Safety. And how many do you think out of these tests are currently being done in India? So from the ones which are listed, there are just 3 which are done in India. All of the remaining, the rolling stock manufacturers need to get done from someplace else. And this, when you multiply with the number of rolling stock that are being made, that are operational, you can realize the opportunity. So what are these tests that is about? First, of course, I'll not take you and bore you with the technicalities, but what we at RDSO do is ensure the stability of the rolling stocks before they are operated. So this is just a glimpse of the rolling stock stability test that we do. Different type of instrumentations. On the right side, which I'm sure you cannot read, are the different parameters that are recorded, that are evaluated while the rolling stock is on runs at speeds higher than what it would ultimately be operational. Every type of coach, whether it's a motor coach, trailer coach, driver coach, every type of coach is put through these series of tests. They are extended tests, and they are done for every metro systems, every rolling stock which is operational on India's different metros today. Just a snapshot of only in the last 4 years, the number of metro trials that just our team has done. So you could probably on this slide see every metro which is operational. Every rolling stock of each of these metro has gone through the same series of validation tests. And every rolling stock in each of these metro has also gone through the number of tests that we don't do presently in our country, and that every rolling stock has gone through. Only in July we've done one for Delhi Metro, and only yesterday we completed the Bhopal Metro trials. This is another initiative that the team has taken. We have aligned ourselves to what we were doing in terms of our own practices to the EN standards for rolling stock testing. And on the main line, not concerned with metro, we are currently doing the Siemens D9 loco as I speak. That would be the first rolling stock certified as the EN standard. So the purpose of putting this slide is also to bring to the awareness of the audience that we are aligned in terms of the acceptable practices to the global standards. So not only are the manufacturing lined up, the testing lined up, but the validation processes and the acceptance parameters are also lined up to the global practices. That brings me to the second part of the presentation, something called the dedicated test track. So far, like you would have noticed in an earlier slide, I had mentioned that we do all of these trials for our metro systems and for our rolling stocks on their own network. For Indian Railways, we use the revenue network which is available. And for the metro trials, we use the metro network which are available. There is a logic to it because ultimately the rolling stock has to operate in that respective network. Hence, it gets tested into that network. If there are certain curves, certain gradients, which are specific to that operational network, then they get tested to that adverse requirements. But world over, there's a practice and there is a setup called the dedicated test tracks. And these are dedicated facilities. As an example, this is one which exists in the US, which in Pueblo, owned by TTCI and now called ENSCO. It's a dedicated test facility like a merry-go-round system of different track gradients, different things which are available. And it's a dedicated facility where rolling stock comprehensively gets tested. On similar patterns, this is just a summary of different kinds of dedicated test tracks which are available globally. Not many of them, but they are still available. And if you look at one of the columns, the lengths also you would have noticed, they're not very large establishments, except the one in US, which is with TTCI. So what's happening on Indian Railways? So Indian Railways is developing its own dedicated test track. It's already almost 80%, 70 to 80% done. We expect the test track to be operational by the end of this year, or maybe if it spills over because of some reasons, then early next year, we should be up and running. Portions of it are already operational. We have done trials on them. It's in Jodhpur division of Indian Railways, around 2 hours from Jaipur, and it's right next to something which is very well known called the Sambhar Lake. So that's the facility, and it's a dedicated test facility coming up. This is the line diagram of the layout. It's a 64-kilometer dedicated test track where we will be conducting all our tests conforming to the international EN 14363 standards. It's a facility which is being dedicated. Once it's up and running, it will be the most extensive and the biggest test facility globally for EN testing. Just some of the pictures of the test track actually taking shape. These kinds of loops, these kinds of curves and gradients where we test them, bridges where we test performance of resonances and effect of ride on bridges, gradients, straight sections, graded sections. And this is where I actually want and concentrate, take leverage of this conference in the audience, representatives of the industry. Our ministry has put forward to the Ministry of Urban Affairs a proposal to set up on similar lines a standard gauge dedicated test track dedicated for the standard gauge rolling stock, which is used by all metro systems today. And the ministry is ready to do the investment part of it. And the broad gauge is costing us close to 1,000 crores. Similar kind of investments the ministry is willing to make and also willing to transform it into a center of excellence, a dedicated test track dedicated for the industry for standard gauge rolling stock testing. We have called for industry participation because unlike the Indian Railway test track, here the customer is the metro industry. The metro rolling stock manufacturers are the only facility or only rolling stock manufacturers who will use this facility if it is set up. And that's the reason for stakeholder analysis. Similar kind of alignment right next to what the broad gauge alignment of the Indian Railway is going to be. And we have done stakeholder consultations across metro organizations, across rolling stock manufacturers, and different consultants who are part of this industry and who are stakeholders in this process. So representatives of the industry who are there in the audience, I'll request to please push this. And this needs to be, if it is to be put up, we require stakeholders to kind of butt in. This is just thinking forward. This is the vision forward for the dedicated test track. We intend to convert the dedicated test track from just a testing facility to an integrated test center of excellence where we will integrate it with different rolling stock testing like I discussed initially. There are a large number of tests which we are not conducting at present, but we intend to invest into those and have the capability, ability, and the equipments to do all of those tests. Some of them some of them are in the pipeline, so I'll discuss some of them. Weighing distortion tests, tippling simulations, twist and yaw. It would be, without getting into technicalities, these are basic requirements which are being met even today. And all of these tests are being done elsewhere. We have the capability to do all of these tests. We only need customers who are willing to get these tests done. Climatic and acoustic chamber. So an entire strata of tests, this facility can be built. The facility has been organized. It's been planned in a manner where all of these can be added organically to it. As and when there is a need, there is a customer base which is ready for conducting these tests, all of these can be put together into that integrated test facility. And it's going to, it can happen pretty quickly, provided we have the go-aheads and the industry willing to partner and sort of get these facilities created. So the core, and that's the conclusion that I have to this small presentation, is that there has to be a ownership model which is different from the normal Indian Railways Bharat Sarkar ownership, the present RDSO setup. So there has to be an ownership where it is either an SPV or an entity, a separate entity, where we can efficiently conduct these tests, price these tests, and also develop facilities as and when they are required. It will result into continued utilization of the assets which are already in place. The test track, the Indian Railways test track is going to be a reality in a few months from now. The standard gauge can only be an add-on, and it can be added with initial capital cost, but the returns thereof are immense. And it's a technology, and I just use the purpose of this conclave to bring home the point and just create curiosities among the industry and the stakeholders that there is this offering from the Indian Railways for you to catch on and develop and shift from the existing, getting those tests done elsewhere from different rolling stock manufacturers to getting them done here itself in India. It would need to have an operations and model, but that's subsequent as we move on, it can be done. So that was a brief glimpse of the testing scenario, the rolling stock scenario, and the testing infrastructure which could be built. I'll be happy to answer any questions, and that QR code is my business card. So for those who would be interested, you could please get in touch. I'm open for any questions. Thank you.
Do we have any questions for sir? We'll just take one in the interest of time. Yes, sir, please. Can we hand over the mic to the gentleman? Sir, please take the center stage, and can we hand over, so you can maybe answer from here. So.
Hello, sir. Thank you for these insights. My name is Mudit. I have a question that the biggest challenge I see in a testing facility is the operational excellence, right? You want to build something that lasts more than the life cycle of the product you are testing. At the same time, you're testing multiple variants and you want to reduce the cost of operation. So what are your thoughts on that?
Sorry, what is the?
What are your thoughts on that? How can we achieve that?
Yeah, so there are two parts to it, Mudit. One is the validation tests which are required or mandatory before, you see, when we talk of rolling stock, and I'm not discussing freight presently, the rolling stock is meant to ferry passengers, right? So you need to be sure of the validation of it, the safety of it, the derailment safety of it, and the otherwise in terms of noise, in terms of sound levels, in terms of riding characteristics. So these are mandatory tests that you need to do irrespective of whatever the cost is. And then there is the other part of it where you get into component reliability and you get into sort of looking into what kinds of failures you are expecting and what kinds of component level testing you do to ensure that the component lasts their designed life cycle and sometimes beyond. So those are another set of tests which are lab-based or component-based. So currently, the topic that I covered today was on the rolling stock per se. So the rolling stock validation test. But yes, you are right. At the component level, to ensure both cost effectiveness and the life of the components, component level tests are to be done, and we have facilities for them at RDSO as well. Plus, there are large facilities available in the industry today also, for institutions like ARI and other institutions who have these component level testings. So they kind of coexist between themselves.
Sorry, sir, my question was more on the operational efficiency of the testing facility itself. So for example, how do you define the requirements of this testing facility to begin with such that it can handle all such scenarios?
Right? Yeah, so you see, like I told you, currently it is going to be a shift from what we have been doing and how we've been pursuing testing as one of the directorates at RDSO. This is going to be and is being developed as a center of excellence and will have its own operational structure, and the inputs towards that are being given by the ministry presently. And what we expect to do and create is an industry-friendly structure where we are able to not only competitively price these test facilities, but also deliver them in the most efficient manner. Because what it does is that it removes the operational constraint that our team presently faces in getting onto revenue track. You see, when we do trials at a speed higher than the designed operational speed. For example, Vande Bharat maximum speed is 160, but we have tested Vande Bharat up to 180. So when we were doing 180 kmph trials, we had to stop revenue, not only stop revenue traffic on both the down and the line that we were working on and the adjoining line, but after we had taken that 180 kmph run, a empty or a sole loco run was taken to ensure that the track is stable and nothing's gone wrong with the 180 kmph run which the Vande Bharat took. So you can imagine that that would be an operational issue, and operationally the trains would get affected. Now all of this goes away in a dedicated test track. A dedicated test track is a dedicated facility. You don't have revenue trains running. It is designed in a particular manner. It's designed into the way that the test track should be. So the operational efficiency of the team itself is going to go away. But yes, based on the demand, there has to be a system in terms of delivering the service.